Okay, the first thing we do is to open our file labeled Chapter 3, a dataset, simply by double-clicking on it. Excel will open up. It'll open up right to sheet Chapter 3, Sheet 1, which is the sheet we're going to work with. Here's our data for Mr. STDEV.P fraction quizzes and our students, and it's already been sorted. So we're going to calculate the standard deviation for this small population of students to see what the variability is in scores. To perform the standard deviation function in Excel, we select the cell to label that that we want to create for this value. So B31 will be the cell that we calculate standard deviation in. Once we have that cell, we then select the function icon from the formula bar on the home ribbon. A dialog box will appear. We have to be sure that in the second pull-down window frame, statistical has been selected, which will then provide us with all of the different formulas within the statistical functions that we can do in Excel. From this, we want to, in the second selection window here, we want to scroll down and select standard deviation P, which stands for standard deviation of a population. Once we select it, we then click on the OK button. Another dialog box will then appear. Make sure that our cursor is placed in the first box and that it's blinking. Then what we would do is place our cursor in the data cell B2. When we go to the right hand corner, we're going to select this data by clicking, holding the mouse button, and dragging through the data. Once we've done this, you'll notice that in the numbers box now, the cells B2 through B26 have been selected. Once we have completed this, you just simply click OK, and our standard deviation appears. If your standard deviation is more than 2 decimal places, you need to format the cell to make sure that this is a number and that it's strictly 2 decimal places. You can do this simply by making sure the cursor, that's the large white cross, is over the cell, right-clicking on it, and then when the menu appears, select Format Cells, and another dialog box will appear entitled Format Cells. Make sure in this dialog box you select the Numbers tab is selected, select Number, and then over where it says decimal places, make sure the number 2 has been selected. You'll notice the arrows on the right or left allow you to scroll up for the number of decimal places. Here I have 13, and in the sample it shows you 13 decimal places. But we want 2 decimal places, so we make sure that the 2 is in the decimal places box. We click OK, and then our standard deviation is calculated to 2 decimal places. And you'll notice the decimal places, the standard deviation for this set of data is 5.34. On a 10-point scale, or a 100-point scale I should say, which is what the quiz is based on, a standard deviation of 5.34 is rather small, and it tells us that the mean, 82.6, is a good representation of central tendency for this small population. So, on average, this population had a mean score of 82.6 on the fractions quiz from Mr. STDEV.P, which is pretty good.